So this morning, America's largest city handing the keys to its first socialist mayor, Zohran Mamdani, beating Cuomo with a record turnout, highest since 1969. In neighboring New Jersey, Democrat Mikey Shirelli, what am I saying, beat Donald Trump, backed by Jack Ciattarelli, for governor. That was a surprise. Look at that margin.
Yeah, huge. While in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger making history as the Commonwealth's first female governor. This as Democrat Jay Jones becomes the next attorney general, despite making violent texts about an AG and GOP lawmaker and his young kids.
Special report anchor and executive editor Bret Baier. He's also the chief political anchor for the network. Bret Baier joins us now.
Good morning.
Good morning. Bret, big picture, looking at all of these different races, I know they're strongly Democrat areas, but what should the Republicans learn from that night?
A couple of things. This is a big loss. You can say that these states were traditionally blue, but you can also say that heading in, there was some thought that, especially in New Jersey, that Ciattarelli would do better. The spreads here are surprising. Maybe not the results, but the spreads. And if you look inside the numbers, there are some dangerous things. One, young women overwhelmingly in New Jersey and Virginia supported the Democrat based on economy, on immigration, maybe those ICE images. The affordability push by Mamdani really sticks. And that's basically inflation and how people feel about the economy. So this dichotomy between how Wall Street's doing and how big business is doing and how you feel about it at home is something Republicans really have to look at closely. But look at this spread in Virginia. It's massive.
Do you think that the young people, especially in the Mamdani race, which is fascinating to me, do you think that they liked his solutions that he was putting forward, or he was the only one who was actually talking about it?
They turned out in droves. Young people
they did.
I mean, in big numbers. 18 to 39 came out for Mamdani big. I think Cuomo started to close at the end because he was saying, here's the fearful things, here are the things you have to be worried about. But he was such a bad candidate at the beginning, it seemed like it was too late.
What about the two things? What about the Hispanic vote? And what about the Hispanic vote as well as the female vote going to Democrats without abortion really being front and center? For the longest time, people thought, well, that was the reason, Republicans are vulnerable because the pro-life movement, perhaps women were rallying against that. But that wasn't an issue.
No, it really seems like it's economy. It really seems like it's how they feel, grocery shopping, how affordability. There is some other, there's a Trump factor here. He is right to say he was not on the ballot, and when he's not, it doesn't produce the same emotion, but it does produce emotion on the other side, the anti-Trump voter, and they came out in droves as well.
That's a problem for Republicans moving forward. I mean, President Trump is not going to be on the ballot in the future, so they've got to really put forward better candidates that can address these issues.
100%. And, there were some candidate issues there as well. I think looking at today, there are some silver linings for Republicans because it's a wake-up call. And it's like we got to get talking more about the economy, affordability, inflation. And while the administration says there's going to be this golden age and they believe it, they're not feeling it.
What about the shutdown in Northern Virginia especially? How do you think the shutdown is playing? Do you think the Republicans are losing that messaging?
I think both parties are losing, but the longer it goes on, the more painful it is. I bet they're going to try to get to a solution sometime this week. I'm definitely going to ask President Trump about that today. I'm going down to Miami on the side of an economic forum that he's speaking to, and I'll have an interview with him.
What about the Democrats in California, Prop 50? Because they claim that they're doing the same thing as my home state of Texas. But these maps are more evasive, and it's not going to give Republicans a shot at all in their state. How do you think the reaction is going to be toward that?
Well, one, Gavin Newsom's going to take it as an endorsement of his 2028 run, I think, because of the overwhelming support for Prop 50. Two, I think, Republicans in California are going to feel deflated because they're going to lose these seats probably. And three, Republicans across the country have more firepower in their redistricting in different states than Democrats do. So it may be, this battle comes back and forth. The Supreme Court's going to weigh in on this Voting Rights Act situation. It could be 19 seats, depending on what they decide.
Can you explain that?
Basically, it suggests that you can or cannot do this based on race. And if they come out with a specific ruling, you're talking about states that could redraw the maps, and it changes towards the Republicans in double digits.
Because right now the law would say you can't do that because it looks like you're doing it on race, and the Supreme Court will come out and say, race doesn't matter, draw the districts, don't worry about it.
Real quickly, Bret, the argument that Republicans are making in Texas is that the areas that they targeted, the Hispanic support, the minority support, actually grew for Republican in those areas versus in California where the Democrats are changing it.
Yeah, that's part of the argument. And I think that this battle is really going to determine who controls the House of Representatives, and that's going to springboard to 28. One more thing. Supreme Court today, you can't overstate the significance of this hearing on tariffs. How this goes down, how this ruling happens for the president, really affects his entire foreign policy and where he's been.
Can you break down that for people who may not be aware of what this case is about?
Basically, it's about whether the president has the right to use this emergency provision, saying that it's an emergency for him to use tariffs on countries around the world. Traditionally, under the Constitution, Congress would have a significant role here. He's saying there's an emergency situation, and the court's going to decide whether that's the case. If they say, no, you can't do it, unwinding all of this would be just really
and there are things that he could do, but he's not even bringing that up because he wants the pressure on the Supreme Court to, he says, make the right decision. And Scott Bessent's going to be watching the proceedings today. When will we get a verdict on this? Before the end of the year?
I think so. I mean, I think that they're going to go into emergency mode. But the Supreme Court takes its own time. We don't have a calendar for the Supreme Court.
So you got a big interview today.
Yeah, so I'll go down to Miami at this America Business Forum down in Miami. It'll be a big event. And then he's going to deliver a speech, and then I'll have an interview afterwards.
President after that. All right.
Excellent.
And by the way,
watching.
Yeah, we're going to watch your coverage all day, and also congratulations. Your book's #2 in the country.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you,
Teddy
sir.
Roosevelt, baby.
It's thanks to your radio show.
That's what I think. I just wear them out every day. You're right, Brett.
No,
Thanks so much for
everyone
coming
loves
in.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.